Hi, thank you for joining us this afternoon to learn more about Colorado's Power Pathway. This is our proposal, Xcel Energy's proposal, to deliver new energy economy benefits to rural Colorado and communities across the state. Today is Tuesday, June 29th, and we are hosting our second virtual town hall project information event. We look forward to meeting with you in person down the road a little bit, but wanted to start out and share some information with you all today about Colorado's Power Pathway. I just want to share a few meeting tips for you as we go through the information today. We will be moving through a PowerPoint presentation followed by a question and answer session with various subject matter experts from Xcel Energy. All of our attendees right now are on mute to prevent and reduce background noise, but I would encourage you to ask questions at any time by pressing *3 on your phone or simply typing your question into the portal. If you're on the phone and you'd like to see the presentation slides and ask questions, please visit coloradospowerpathway.com. The portal for this town hall is located on that homepage, and that will work for both your computer, laptop, or mobile devices. If you're having any connection issues with this meeting, please call the meeting phone number at 855-962-1519 for English, or we do have a Spanish version that you can listen into at 833-380-0723. I also recommend, if you're streaming this online, to maybe minimize some of the windows or close out of a couple of things just to make sure that you've got the most available bandwidth for you today. So let me introduce myself. I'm Kelly Flanagan. I'm the Director of Community Relations for Xcel Energy here in Colorado. And I'm joined by a great team, but we're going to have a smaller team, just 4 of us, to kind of go through this PowerPoint presentation with you. And I'm joined by Heather Brickey, who's the project manager for this, Colleen Poletti, who is our transmission planning manager, Carly Rowe, the manager over our siting and land rights team. And as we go through this, we're going to learn about the community benefits. We're going to talk a big overview on the project, where our routing and siting studies are so far, and then, of course, the opportunity for us to engage with you through a question and answer session, as well as some feedback and connection. So I'm looking forward to this time today, and as I had mentioned earlier, we will have a much larger group of subject matter experts to join us at the end. So please, again, feel free to ask questions as we go, and we will do our best to respond. I would also make a quick note that all of the questions that we gather will be populated into a living document of frequently asked questions that will be available on Colorado's powerpathway.com website. So we are cataloging all of these. We know that that you all have great questions, and there are probably more than one person who shares that question. So we look forward to building a really robust library for you. So let me just introduce you to Xcel Energy. Xcel Energy has been a national leader in wind energy since 2005. We serve 8 states, having just under 4 million electric customers and just over 2 million natural gas customers. As I mentioned, we have been lauded as a leader in wind energy, energy efficiency, carbon emission reduction, building innovative technology, and we've also received some accolades in our storm restoration. I did want to just let you know that we've got a couple of really interesting and exciting demonstrations and pilots underway throughout our service territory to really test some advanced technologies. We are looking at drone technology, advanced grids, connecting to Google Assistant. So we're really looking at how we take innovation and technology and how we really grow that in our energy space. A couple of things to know about us when it comes to transmission. Transmission lines really are a vital link for how we deliver electricity from power sources to homes and businesses throughout our territory. So we own and operate over 20,000 miles of transmission line that serves 22,000 megawatts of customer load, providing that electricity to just over 3.5 million customers with facilities in 8 states. And so if we are looking to drill that down just a little bit to learn more about how we interact in Colorado, we provide electricity to about 1.5 million customers and natural gas service to just under that at about 1.4 million customers. Reliability is super important to the work that we do, and we're very proud of a high reliability rating, just under 100%. This drives what we do as we work to make sure that our customers, residential, commercial, industrial, whatever class of customer, that they are receiving reliable energy services, whether that's on our gas side of our business or the electric side of our business. So as we look forward to really understanding the Colorado Pathways Project, I wanted to take a minute just to talk about the benefits to your community or to this area as a result of this project. I did want to let you know that we will be having a full economic impact study and a deep analysis that should be available in the coming weeks. We're anticipating kind of mid-July for that. And I look forward to coming back and sharing with you some of the data points that we learn here. But for comparison purposes, I did want to just let you know about a couple of pieces here. One of our most recent wind projects that you may be familiar with is our Cheyenne Ridge Wind Project. This project is located in Cheyenne and Kit Carson counties. And that project will produce an estimated $107 million impact in landowner payments and about $29 million in brand new tax revenue to the area. Through that project, there's been job creation as well. Through the construction of that, we had about 200 temporary construction jobs and have ended with 24 new full-time employees. So there's also that benefit. I did want to let you know, because you may have heard about Xcel Energy's Electric Resource Plan. The Electric Resource Plan is our analysis of what our power needs will be into the future and what types of megawatts do we need to generate to be able to provide the power that our customers need into the future. So we have filed this first round, the phase 1 of our Electric Resource Plan. This really, in my mind, I think of it in terms of a pie. So the phase 1 talks about how big the pie needs to be. And then as we move forward and hope to gain approval of that, we move into the phase 2, which is really thinking about where and what the pieces of the pie look like. That gives an opportunity for developers to build generation resources for our company. And depending on where those are located, that may also be a benefit to your community. So there can be more to come on that. And if you have any more questions, we can dig deeper into the Electric Resource Plan, both phase 1 and phase 2. But I really want to spend today talking about the Colorado Power Pathway Project. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Heather Brickey, who again is the project manager for this, who will share some more specificity around that particular project. Heather, I'll turn it to you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So I just want to start with saying I realize the map here is small, but you can go to the website, coloradospowerpathway.com, to zoom in and search the areas that you are interested in. The Colorado's Power Pathway, also called the Pathway, is a $1.7 to $2 billion investment to Colorado's transmission system. The project includes up to 650 miles of new double-circuit 345 kilovolt transmission lines that loop around the eastern part of the state. The $1.7 billion investment includes 5 segments of new 345 transmission lines. On the map, it's the box that starts in the north of the Denver metro area and goes clockwise and ends in the south part of the metro area. These 5 segments are the backbone of the transmission system being proposed with this project and is approximately 560 miles long. The backbone also includes 3 new substations and the expansion of 4 existing substations. The additional $300 million is an optional 90-mile double-circuit 345 kV line, shown in yellow on the map, called the May Valley Longhorn Extension. This will be included in the project if approved by the Colorado's Public Utilities Commission. There will be a much more detailed review of segments in Carly's portion of the presentation. This project will expand the transmission system in Colorado to access low-cost wind and solar energy in the eastern and southeastern Colorado that cannot currently be accessed by the existing transmission system today. For this project, the typical transmission structures that are planned will be single steel poles for all tangent structures, or structures that are in a straight line. 2-pole dead-end structures will be used at angle points and corners. The steel pole structures will be on concrete foundations, and each will have 8 wires, 3 conductors, and 1 OPGW shield wire per circuit. Typical pole heights will be between 105 and 140 feet tall, but could be as low as 90 feet or up to 200 feet where the lines cross under or over other existing lines or infrastructure in the project area. Typical span lengths from pole to pole will be about 900 feet. The right-of-way corridor where the line will be located is planned to be 150 feet wide. Transmission substations are connection points for 2 or more transmission lines. Substations can also step up or step down the line voltages. The typical new substation for this project will need approximately 60 acres for construction. They include electrical equipment and are enclosed by a chain link fence. This is all subject to change as the lines and substation locations have not been determined or designed, and the terrain could require additional structure types, line lengths, span lengths, and corridor widths. The loop design of the Pathway project will enhance the transmission system's reliability by providing a redundant path for power to flow from generation facilities to the load centers. If there's a break in part of the system, the power can flow in the opposite direction. The loop also provides diversity for wind and solar energy around the state. For example, if the wind is blowing in the north part of the state but not in the south, power is still being produced and added to the system. The map on this slide indicates the sequencing for completion of each segment. The green teal colored area includes segments 2, 3, and 6. These 3 segments will be completed in 2025 in order to take advantage of the production tax credits, or PTCs, available for new wind farms that become commercially operational by the end of 2025. The PTCs are currently set to expire at the end of 2025, and taking advantage of these will lower the cost of installing new wind generation, which benefits all customers in Colorado. Segment 1 in yellow will be completed in 2026, and segments 4 and 5, depicted in orange, will be completed in 2027. This sequencing will allow energy resources to be added to the system in stages and will help to manage the resources needed to complete this project and meet Xcel's 2030 targets to reduce carbon emissions by 80%. Now Connie will talk about the need and benefits for the project.
Hi, now that Kelly has explained the area benefits and Heather has covered what the Pathway project is going to look like, I'd like to go into more detail on why Xcel Energy is taking on this effort. Back in 2007, our state legislators put a lot of time and effort into considering our state's natural resources beyond the beauty of our mountains and the agricultural benefits of the plains and Front Range, and the more traditional resources such as natural gas. They worked to identify what else the state has to offer our residents and to support the state economy, what was going to be the next big opportunity. They introduced 2 Senate bills and worked with energy research firms to identify generation development areas where the wind profiles are some of the best in the country. Those are in pink on this map. And then also they identified solar resource potential, referenced in yellow on the map. Additionally, they worked with transmission providers such as Xcel Energy to identify energy resource zones, or ERZs, that are defined as geographic areas in which transmission constraints hinder the delivery of electricity to our Colorado consumers and or hinder the development of new electric generation facilities to serve our Colorado consumers. Since that time, several Xcel Energy transmission projects have been built under these Senate bills, but we have hit a point where the existing transmission system is essentially full, and the next level of transmission development is required to meet growing electric needs, carbon emission reduction goals of the company, and transition the state to clean energy. The next slide shows you the Pathway project, overlaid on the existing bulk transmission system in Colorado. As you can see, there is a high concentration of transmission lines in areas around load centers and very little transmission in the eastern area of the state, except for that primarily constructed to serve local needs. Additional transmission capacity is needed to integrate more renewable generation within the ERZs to serve electric customers across the state. The Power Pathway project, outlined in black and blue, fills that need by providing high voltage backbone transmission. Generation development projects in more rural areas of the state may interconnect to our new transmission project and enrich those communities with additional job opportunities and tax revenue, while providing for delivery of low-cost clean energy to consumers. And on the next slide, I'll explain the process of how this need for the Pathway project is confirmed. As a regulated utility and transmission provider in the state, Xcel Energy requires the approval of the Colorado Public Utilities Commission, CPUC, or I'll refer to it as the Commission. The first step was to file an application for a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity, or CPCN, with the Commission, which we did on March 2nd. The CPCN includes a great deal of information on why the project is needed, what collaborative transmission studies were completed to evaluate alternatives and consider stakeholder input, why the project is needed from a resource planning and public policy perspective, considerations for the engineering design of various project components, cost estimates, and finally, the required siting, permitting, and land rights activities given the study area. I would encourage you to go to the CPUC website provided on this slide. If you are interested in any particular details of any of the company witnesses or want a better understanding of the approval process for both the Pathway project and our recently filed electric resource plan, just navigate to the filings using the proceeding number here on this slide, and it's all there, including the latest information. The Pathway project procedural schedule provides dates for all the activities, which include filing of testimony, interventions, hearings, statements of position, and the opportunity for public comment. By February of 2022, we hope to receive approval from the Commission to proceed with this important backbone transmission project based on the benefits we've outlined. In the meantime, our goal is to keep you informed every step of the way, hopefully answering your questions and gaining your support. This project is just one of many benefits we provide as a public service provider in Colorado, working with the other utilities in the state to keep the lights on and power the economy. On the next slide is a high-level overview of how the system works. Transmission is the backbone of the electricity delivery network. These are the lines strung across a variety of structures to move large amounts of electric power across long distances. They support generation resources on one end and a distribution system which delivers electricity to your homes and businesses on the other. We have an open transmission system in Colorado. The interconnected power lines carry electricity generated by Xcel Energy along with the other utilities and cooperatives in the state. This infrastructure provides reliability and support should there be an outage on one of the lines or with a generator. Because of this interdependence, we work collaboratively with the other energy providers in the state through the Colorado Coordinated Planning Group. It is a statewide transmission system planning approach to identify the best solutions for all. Transmission projects that improve electric system reliability, accommodate load growth, and allow additional generation resources to come online or connect to the electric grid benefits everyone who uses electricity. Just like state highways benefit all motorists, the Pathway project increases power moving capability, working like a highway expansion to increase power availability to local electricity providers and improve reliability for all electricity users. Other utilities are considering Pathway project participation, but their customers will benefit either by direct transmission access to bring output from their wind or solar generation projects to their customers, or by simply improving the reliability of the system. I've talked about the project need based on location of generation resources along the Eastern Plains and south of Pueblo. Carly is up next to discuss where these lines may be located and what goes into determining the final route.
As Kelly mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, I'm Carly Rowe, and I'm one of the managers of our Siting and Land Rights Department in Colorado. The Siting and Land Rights team is responsible for securing land rights, permits, and other approvals that are necessary before Xcel Energy can construct our utility facilities. On this slide and on the next couple of slides, I will be talking a little bit more about where the Pathway project is located, how we will conduct our transmission line routing and substation siting activities, and we'll share a high-level schedule of public outreach, routing, and permitting activities. As you saw on previous slides, the Pathway project makes a large loop around the eastern half of Colorado in order to access wind and solar-rich areas and to transport energy to our customers throughout the state. As I discuss location, I will continue to refer to the segments that Heather introduced in the earlier slides. These segments are currently defined as 20-mile wide corridors and are named based on their substation endpoints. Some of these segment endpoints are existing Xcel Energy substations that will be expanded, and some will be new substations. Our segments are 20 miles wide because as we start the routing process, we want to ensure that there is ample area to avoid sensitive resources and land uses, and that we have the flexibility that is needed to achieve that. These 20-mile wide segments will also be referred to as the study area for the Pathway project and are included in the CPCN that was submitted to the Colorado Public Utilities Commission in March. On the next several slides, I will provide more information about each of the project segments. Keep in mind you can access a more detailed view of where the segments are located on our project website, which we will share more information about at the end of our presentation. Segment 1, which we refer to as the Fort St. Vrain to Canal Crossing segment, is located in Weld and Morgan counties. This segment is approximately 75 miles long and extends from the existing Fort St. Vrain substation in Weld County to a new substation called Canal Crossing in Morgan County. Canal Crossing will be built on property already owned by Xcel Energy and will be located adjacent to the existing Pawnee substation. Segment 2 starts at the Canal Crossing substation and extends east and south to a new substation called Goose Creek, which will be located in Kit Carson or Cheyenne County. This segment is approximately 160 miles long, and the study area for the transmission line includes Cheyenne, Morgan, Washington, Yuma, and Kit Carson counties. Additionally, the hatched area that you see on this map outside of the 20-mile wide segment is also being included in our study area for the project to allow additional flexibility to identify a transmission line route that may be shorter in length and could reduce overall cost of the project. Segment 3, the Goose Creek to May Valley segment, starts at the proposed Goose Creek substation and extends south through Cheyenne, Kiowa, Kit Carson, and Prowers counties for approximately 65 miles to a new substation called May Valley, which will be located in Prowers or Kiowa County. Segment 4, referred to as May Valley to Tundra, is approximately 140 miles long and is located in Prowers, Kiowa, Lincoln, Crowley, El Paso, and Pueblo counties. The Tundra substation is currently under construction in Pueblo County. Segment 5, the Tundra to Harvest Mile segment, starts at the Tundra substation and extends north to the existing Harvest Mile substation in Arapahoe County. This segment is 120 miles long and will cross Pueblo, El Paso, Elbert, Douglas, and Arapahoe counties.
Finally, if approved to be included in the project, the May Valley to Longhorn extension will be located between the new May Valley substation and a new substation called Longhorn in Baca County. This segment is approximately 90 miles long and will cross Kiowa, Prowers, and Baca counties. The transmission line routing process follows three main steps to get from the 20-mile wide segments to identification of a preferred route for the Pathway project. The first step, which we have already completed and are sharing with you today, is what we refer to as scoping or study area identification. Once we identify the need for a project, we research the location where the project is needed and gather information about our system, general land ownership, land use, and environmental conditions to identify an appropriate study area. Next, in order to gain more understanding of our study area, we collect qualitative and quantitative data. The general types of data that are collected through this effort and considerations that are part of our routing study are shown on the graphic on this slide. Data is gathered through multiple sources, including digital data that is available online, and through field visits and meetings with landowners, jurisdictions, and other stakeholders. After this data is collected, we classify it into three categories based on its compatibility with the project. These three categories are suitable areas, sensitive areas, and exclusion areas. Xcel Energy is currently in the process of categorizing data that we have been collecting over the past couple of months since our CPCN was filed. After this effort is complete, we will identify route alternatives and substation site alternatives, which will be presented at in-person public meetings in late August into early September. Following those public meetings, and based off of input gathered, we will narrow the alternative routes while also factoring in our system needs, existing land uses, and environmental considerations. Our final step in the routing process is to identify a preferred route for the project. After we have refined our route alternatives, we will conduct another round of in-person public meetings in October or November of this year, where we will gather additional input from the public on the reduced number of alternatives. Following these meetings, we will identify a preferred route for the Pathway project, which will be shared publicly toward the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. This slide provides an overview of our estimated timeline for the routing, public outreach, and permitting phases of this project, and also outlines opportunities for you to connect with us. The red box on this slide indicates where we are in the process today, and the project milestones circled in red identify opportunities for additional engagement from you. As I mentioned as part of the routing and siting overview, there will be 2 rounds of in-person public meetings held in late summer and fall of this year. We will be hosting multiple meetings throughout the study areas, and we'll share more information on those meetings when the dates and locations have been finalized. Once a preferred route has been identified, we will also hold public meetings to share that information with the community. Following identification of a preferred route, we will be working with jurisdictions on the land use permitting process. As part of this process, some jurisdictions may also require public meetings for those permit applications. If they are required, we will host additional public meetings at that time. As part of the land use permitting process, there will also be opportunity for public feedback directly to the jurisdictions when we appear in front of the Planning Commissions or Board of County Commissioners for the hearings on the land use permits. As currently planned, some segments of the Pathway project are scheduled to be under construction in 2024, and we are committed to communicating with the community through the completion of construction and restoration. You can contact us at any time through our website, email, or toll-free telephone number, which are listed on this slide.